You know, there are elections that come and go. Some elections are, you know, important, some are not. But this one, this one really mattered. And I just want to say thank you for making it happen. Thank you. My heart goes out to you. It is thanks to you that the future of civilization is assured.
The whole world saw it, and the additional context makes it even more disturbing than it already was. But that hasn't stopped some of the biggest bootlickers of the ruling class from running cover for Elon's open display of fascist symbolism.
But you can have a desire to be a good person, and some people don't have that. And the excuse that they always use is, this is the Donald Trump excuse. You do anything you can to stop Hitler, you know, right? And this is why they want to conflate, and they always want to pretend that everyone's Hitler. The problem with that is it just, after a while, it's crying wolf, and people are like, oh, this is a bull game you're playing, and you're just using it as an excuse.
This is the exact type of discourse that slowly and methodically normalizes fascist sentiments and attitudes by building up the straw man to paint anyone criticizing Elon's Nazi salute, and by extension the Republican Party's white supremacist policy platform, as morally bad people who aren't actually concerned with the rise of authoritarianism at home and abroad, and are only weaponizing, in Rogan's words, woke ideology to make themselves appear to be morally good people. Rogan is effectively telling his audience not to believe what their eyes saw and their ears heard, making the rubes who believe everything Rogan says even more susceptible to further propaganda and disinformation campaigns than they already were.
And he's absolutely correct, is that people use woke ideology as an excuse to be an and it's really just people that are attaching themselves to things that make them feel righteous. And so they wrap themselves in this idea to give them virtue and to allow them to say the most awful things about other people that have different perspectives. And then just by nature, if you're doing that, you're doing the wrong thing. You're a bad person. You can justify it all you want. You can.
While there are undoubtedly people out there who abuse and exploit social justice missions for their own selfish reasons, dismissing any valid criticism of your political allies who conveniently happen to share the same class interests as you, as pathetic people who just want to feel righteous, misses the point of the criticism entirely. It's never been as simple as differing perspectives on the world and political views, but rather the existential threat right-wing policies pose to the most vulnerable people in society, and the necessity for anyone not a part of the ruling class to protect each other and fight back against the forces working to tamper resistance. But Joe Rogan wasn't the only comedian who sucked up to the rich and powerful instead of holding them accountable. Hey guys, quick break in the action. I have a new show coming out called The Rick Strom Show. It is going to be awesome. I'm interviewing musicians, athletes, producers, writers, journalists, authors, sports doctors. Go check it out at youtube.com/@TheRickStromShow. Also be sure to throw me a follow on Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky. It can all be found in the description box below. Thank you.
Oh, Denver.
Yeah. Okay, so what do you guys think of Elon having his little spastic moment?
Isn't this like a super pro-Israel administration? I just don't think like they hate Jews like that.
Oh, no. Okay, let's clarify something.
I think he's just autistic.
Yeah, they don't hate Jews at all.
If it was anti-black, maybe we got a thing. He's South African, but anti-Jew, they're like a big pro.
No, I don't think he was actually doing it.
On the Flagrant podcast, Akash Singh, who can be funny when he wants to, made the false equivalency of supporting Israel to not being anti-Semitic look no further than American evangelical Christian Zionists and the reason for supporting Israel to debunk that narrative, but also infantilized Elon Musk and effectively absolved him of the salute because of his autism diagnosis.
And this is what Democrats do all the time. They just like defend absurd shit, and that's what exhausts us. I think that's why the trans thing is a big issue. I don't even think anybody gives a fuck about trans. It's just the most absurd and obvious thing. And I feel people are going like, all right, well, you'll acknowledge this is weird. Like, you know, trans girls competing against normal girls. That's a little unfair. And they won't even acknowledge it. So Republicans just got to go, yo, that was some goofy he did.
Yes.
Okay. We can't let him out in front of people. He spends all day in a basement, you know, working on electricity. You let him out in front of people, he gets really excited. He does whatever the last documentary he saw was. Right? Like, he just got in his head and it comes out. You know?
Andrew Schulz took it a step further and implied that Musk was completely ignorant of what he was doing and should be completely absolved because this whole thing is being blown out of proportion. Just like Rogan said, Schulz is missing the forest for the trees by only thinking about the optics of the salute instead of the signal it sends to everyone watching, regardless of Elon's intention. We could speculate on said intention, but you don't need to look very far than how literal white supremacists like Nick Fuentes are celebrating the salute to see the effect it's having.
Exactly.
No,
just
he's
say
retarded.
what it is. He
Yeah.
did some dumb because the guy is filled with autism
Yes.
and you put him in front of a crowd and he just spazzed out.
Yeah.
What do you make, sir, of the suggestion that your son was making a Nazi salute up on stage?
It's absolute nonsense. Absolute rubbish. Rubbish. It's a universal salute, or as he said, throwing his heart out, I suppose. Yes, no, it's a universal thing for thousands of years. So that's rubbish. Absolute rubbish.
Gee, who would have thought someone who enjoyed all of the privileges that the immoral institution of apartheid gave to himself and his family would be defending his son from doing a Nazi salute on the world stage?
What behavior? The behavior was fine. I can't see anything wrong with that behavior. I've seen since then a number of photographs of Obama and OAC, AOC, and so on using the same gesture. Nobody's worried about it when they make that sort of gesture. In fact, quite differently, in fact. So, again, it's just rubbish. I don't think it's a talking point. It's nonsense. It's just utter nonsense.
Like father, like mother, I guess, because May Musk, Elon's mum, parroted the same talking point with this sad meme of doctored photos that were deliberately taken out of context to soften the blow of Elon's actions. Again, this all comes back to plausible deniability and muddying the waters around the true meaning and impact of the salute and other similar gestures.
I don't care what Elon Musk is doing behind a presidential seal. In this country, we hate Nazis. Kind of like a foundational defining thing. Two of probably the most foundational defining things about American history is that we beat the Confederates and we beat the Nazis. And I don't know what side people may be on today, but I still am not rocking with anyone sympathetic to Nazis. And I will do that until I am 6 feet in the ground. Like, kind of foundational to me as a human being. And so if you're cool and want to defend the Sig Heils and the Nazi salutes, all the whatever you want to do, that's on you. I'm on the opposite side of that. I'm not with the Nazis.
What else do you need to say? If you can and are willing, please become a paid member here at TYT Sports. And or go to tyt.com/join. In addition, you can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Appreciate it. Have a great day.